Welcome to the On Deck podcast presented by LineStar. I'm Shannon Sommerville here with Tyler Wiemann, about to break down some fantasy baseball for you today. Just a small mini slate for today, but plenty to get to. A little 5-gamer mini slate. We've got their pitchers, your stacks, prop bets, sleeper picks. Got it all. That's coming up. First, we got to talk about another no-hitter broken up. What is going on in the 9th inning? Shohei Ohtani broke up Tyler Anderson's no-hitter with 1 out in the 9th inning. Man, that's brutal. It's been a brutal couple of days.
It was a triple.
At least it was like a well-hit ball again.
Again, yeah, you're right. And again, Tyler's just keep providing.
The Tylers are just dominating.
Yep. Tyler Molly and then Tyler Anderson.
What are the power rankings of Tyler's?
We're up there. We're taking over the world.
Tyler Wiemann is number 1.
We're taking over the world.
All right. So, no Tylers on the list for today.
No, it's unfortunate.
It is. We got a Zach Wheeler. He's our highest owned pitcher for today.
I like that transition.
You like that?
Yeah.
Getting better at these, huh? They're facing the Nationals today. Wheeler's 45% owned on DraftKings, 40% owned on FanDuel. So a lot of people going in on Wheeler. 2.84 ERA, 2.28 opponent average. Although righty bats are actually hitting him 2.82. Decent clip. Road ERA, though. I was looking at this. 5.57 ERA and 2.95 opponent average. Last game, 2 hits, 6 scoreless, though, 8 strikeouts. Solid against the D-backs. So what do you see for him today against the Nationals, a team that can hit him pretty well?
They can. There is a question mark if Soto will be back. He has been out of the lineup the last 2 days after leaving a game early on Monday. But Wheeler's been insanely good the last 5 starts. 1.1 FIP over the last 5, 35% K rate. Now, to show you like his last 20 numbers, 2.62 FIP, which is still very elite, and 28% K rate. So his K rate has climbed quite a bit over these last 5. He has faced some teams that do strike out a lot, which obviously will help that. But he's been really good, and his StatCast data looks incredible. Ton of soft contact, ton of ground balls. Only troubling thing I'm seeing, 161 plate attempts. Washington's hitting 270, has 5 home runs. And Wheeler only has a 17% K rate versus him.
Yeah.
His K line for the day is pretty low, too. It was 5.5, which was right around like minus 140 or so odds, which at first when I saw it, kind of lit up and I was like, ooh, I want to hit it. But after looking into a little bit, he hasn't done well against Washington in the strikeout department. Of his last like 6 games versus Washington, he only went over 5.5 once. Yeah.
And to your point, and you talked also about Juan Soto. Yeah. He has really good numbers against Wheeler. 3.14 average against him and 35 at-bats, including 2 home runs.
Yeah. So
that's
Soto's definitely a big part, something to kind of keep an eye on out, see if he's playing or not.
All right. Well, let's go to Luis Severino. The Yankees pitcher's 42% owned on DraftKings, 29% owned on FanDuel. Yankees going up against the Rays today. 2.80 ERA, 2.13 opponent average. Righties are hitting just 192 against Severino. Man, it's like every Yankees pitcher's just been so solid this season. Love to see it.
They have been.
And so righties are hitting that 192 clip. The Rays' only lefty, Kevin Kiermaier, I was looking this up. He has a 107 average against Severino in 28 at-bats.
He also left the game early yesterday. So we
Thanks
are
for
not
noting
sure.
That. You might not even be dealing with the lefty in the lineup for today. But what do you see from Severino that you like or maybe want to stay away from?
Severino's been great. Okay. And he's pretty much back to his old self. 3.45 FIP over his last 20. And that's pretty close to what his last 5 is, which I think it was 3.1 over his last 5. But a 29.6% K rate over the last 20, and his last 5 is 32%. So he has been extremely good lately. Only troubling data that I'm really seeing is StatCast stuff. So some of the underlying data could show a little bit of regression. 38% hard drives, 50% average exit velocity, 90 mile an hour average exit velocity, 38% hard contact, 32% line drives. Not great, but he is going against
like the biggest sluggers in the world,
and especially not versus righties. They are below average versus righties and striking out 25% over the last month towards righties. So there is definite upside.
There you go. How about upside for Angels righty Shohei Ohtani? Another Showtime game. They're going up against the Mariners today. He is 40% owned on DraftKings, 16% owned on FanDuel. Shohei has a 3.64 ERA on the season, 2.30 opponent average. Last time out was against the Red Sox. Good game for him. Just 4 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts. Solid day for him.
Solid.
What are you liking Ohtani for today?
First thing I think we need to talk about is DraftKings just routinely drunk when they price him as a pitcher. Like, seriously, how is he still 8,200 as a pitcher? This guy is one of the best pitchers in the game, has elite strikeout stuff, and DraftKings refuses to price him up. So we always
get
some
respect on that.
Chalk Ohtani.
Yes.
But he has been a little bit shaky lately.
Okay.
So 4.8 FIP, 26% K rate over his last 5. Now to show you his last 20 numbers, it's 3.37 FIP and 29% K rate. So he has been much worse over the last 5. Seattle is a top 10 offense versus righties and strike out at 22%. However, the Seattle implied total is the lowest on the slate at 3.2. So that's showing us that it is in Seattle. The sports books are giving Ohtani some respect. Okay. Unlike DraftKings.
Unlike DraftKings. So is he worth playing today? Is
Absolutely.
What you're saying with that price tag? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to some low-owned pitchers for today. We're first going to take a look at Rangers lefty Martin Perez going up against the Tigers today. Just 12% owned on DraftKings and 2% owned on FanDuel. 2.18 ERA, 2.30 opponent average, and Perez has been pretty solid, except last game was the worst outing of his career by far. 12 hits, 6 earned runs versus the White Sox. But other than that, man, he's been
insane this year.
Yeah, he's been great.
I mean, that last start just tells me that he is human. He is not a robot pitching.
Exactly. We see that.
But his numbers are still great, still borderline elite. 2.72 FIP, 20% K rate is a little on the low side for a higher price tag pitcher like he is, but he's good. 3.07 FIP over the last 5 and 3.1 over the last 20. So he's been this guy for a little while. It's not like it's just this season he's been great. And his StatCast data is great. 54% ground balls.
Nice.
26% hard or soft contact and only 23% hard contact. So guys just simply aren't hitting him very hard, aren't making very good contact, and he's going against Detroit, who we love to pick on.
Absolutely.
However, he is a lefty. Detroit is worse versus righties, but they're still bad versus lefties. Strike out 22%. They're bottom 5 offense. The only bad stuff, BVP numbers. They're hitting 295 and 69 plate attempts versus Perez.
Yeah. I still like that play, though.
I do, too. And Detroit has been terrible the last month.
They've just been really bad, so I would take that.
So...
How about Brewers lefty Aaron Ashby, who's going up against the Mets today? 21% owned on DraftKings and 10% owned on FanDuel. He's got a 3.91 ERA, 2.50 opponent average. He got shelled by the Nationals last time out, 6 earned runs on 13 hits in 4 2/3, but he does have the ability to throw some strikeouts like that 12 strikeout performance against the Padres.
Yes, against the Padres. Oh, my Padres that put up 19 last night. 19 runs.
We haven't talked about that, have we?
No, we haven't. Good old 19 runs, and they had more home runs than Coors.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, so I won that bet.
We'll circle back to that in the home runs.
All right, so Aaron Ashby here. I am bringing up the Mets also as a low owned stack. And the whole reason is, as we have seen, he is inconsistent. You just alluded to it. 12 Ks one game, he gets blown up by the Nationals the next. So I see it as a high variance spot, but he does some upside. He has great stuff when it's all coming together. And the Mets are a much different offense against lefties than righties. Against lefties, they're around average, strikeout 20%. Ashby, solid K rate, 28%. So there's great upside at this price tag. His StatCast data is great, and he has a low 3.64 FIP over the last 20, 3.14 over the last 5. So he's in a good spot, and I like the upside.
Yeah.
But I also can see picking on him. We'll go more into that later.
Okay. Let's talk about Mariners' George Kirby going up against the Halos today. 24% owned on DraftKings and 2% owned on FanDuel. Now, Kirby has a 3.65 ERA, 2.59 opponent average. Kind of middle of the road there on those numbers. He has given up 2 bombs in each of his last 2 outings, so does give up some home runs. But
he does. 1.7 per 9.
What do you think about this matchup? What do you like about it?
So this is another player that DraftKings or the FanDuel also is just not really respecting. His price just keeps being too low. Okay. I feel like we talk about him almost every time he pitches. But Kirby's striking out 11 batters per 9 at home and only 6 batters per 9 away. This game is at home. Angels have struck out 26% versus righties. But then over the last month, that goes up to 28.6%, which is almost 2% higher than any other team.
Wow.
So they have been bad. They also, over that last month, they're the 20th ranked team in WRC plus versus righties. So it's just bad. I mean, they went on that losing streak. They haven't really totally came out of it. They almost got shut out.
True.
Or they almost got a no-hit last night.
Yes, and the game is again in Seattle.
Yeah.
Pitcher Park. Yeah.
So Kirby's been
sense.
decent, 4.11 FIP. Another thing is his K line is pretty much the same as Zach Wheeler's at 5.5 minus 140. So
really?
sports books are giving him some upside there. There's a 3.8 implied total for the Angels, which is also lower than Wheeler's implied total. So in the 4th lowest on the slate. So I think he has some upside. He's cheap and he's on the lower side. I wouldn't say he's low owned, but on FanDuel he is. But
so that being said, with this smaller slate, we only have 5 games. Are you stacking or doing any leverage against any plays in particular with those high owned guys? Like against...
You know, I looked into it a little bit, but I just don't really love stacking against them. Maybe a player or two, you know, but not like a full-on 5-man or 4-man stack.
Okay. Let's go to our stacks for today. First, taking a look at our high-owned stacks. We're going to first look at the Phillies going up against Nationals lefty Patrick Corbin. Now, Corbin has a 6.65 ERA, 3.13 opponent average. In fact, lefties are hitting him at a 3.61 clip. And then I went through the lineup here. Bryce Harper, 2.73 against Corbin. Reese Hoskins, 3.08 against Patrick Corbin. JT Realmuto, 2.92 against him. So, yeah, they got some good numbers against him.
Yeah, and the DFS community just loves to pick on Corbin anytime he's pitching. We also have 85 degrees, light wind blowing out, a lot of things to like here. One thing, though, is Corbin does have a 4.5 FIP, which it's bad, but it's not terrible.
Okay.
Also only allowing 1.2 home runs per 9. Again, not terrible. And his StatCast data is actually decent. 50% ground balls, low 28% hard contact. So he's been bad, just not as bad as everybody.
Does this game have the highest run total on the slate?
Yes, Philadelphia has the highest implied total.
Gotcha.
So,
well, you can see why people are going there.
Yeah, and in 138 plate attempts, Philly is hitting 282 against him with 5 home runs.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Alluded to what you said there. A lot of guys have good numbers.
Rangers going up against Tigers righty Bo Brisky. 4.34 ERA, 2.47 opponent average. Righties are hitting him, though, pretty well. 2.96 opponent average for those righty bats. 9.85 OPS. I like Rangers bats these days.
Yeah.
They've been pretty good for me in the prop bets, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it should be another, tough day for Bo. Warm weather, and Bo Brisky's kind of a good combo there. He has a 5.71 FIP over the last 5, 6.03 on the year. He's allowing 2.3 home runs per 9, and 34% hard contact and tons of barrel balls. Texas offense is average versus righties over the last month, but pitchers this bad don't come around often.
So what you're saying is we're not fading this play.
Yeah, I think the Rangers are in a good spot.
Okay. So those are high owned. So let's take a look at some low owned. Maybe get a little different here. Yankees going up against Rays lefty Jalen Beeks. Now, Beeks is the lowest projected pitcher on LineStar, but that makes sense because he's probably just an opener. Yeah. So this is kind of a bullpen game for the Rays. So when we're looking at the Rays bullpen, they're pretty good. But
yeah, around
the
average.
Yankees are just. I think you're probably more betting on the Yankees bats at this point.
Totally the Yankees bats. The Tampa Bay bullpen is decent. They're used to these opener things, so it's not like the normal team having to go to a bullpen game.
Right.
But 4.6 implied totals, third on the slate. It's slightly behind Texas, which I think they were 4.7. But Yankees just have a ton of upside. Ton of guys that can hit home runs, that keep scoring runs every game. They got to McClanahan last night a little bit. Not bad, but a little bit. And really, it's just if they're under-owned, especially in a small slate, like you have to look at them.
Yeah, definitely. Well, how about the Mets going up against the Brew Crew lefty Aaron Ashby? He's got a 3.91 ERA, 2.50 opponent average. Lefties hitting him at a 3.51 clip. I kind of like the Mets bats. Like a Pete Alonso in there.
I mean, Ashby's just so inconsistent. You don't really know what you're going to get out of him. And he has had some huge blow-up games. So attacking that could be smart, especially if Mets are low-owned. They are a dangerous offense, even though they're not quite as good versus lefties. And the wind is blowing out like 15 to 20 miles an hour towards left. 4.3 run implied total is the fourth highest on the slate. And, I mean, you're looking at these run totals. It's 4.3 versus 5. 5 is Philadelphia, 4.3 is Mets. It's really not a huge difference. And I would say ownership between them is a very large difference. Philly is going to go very high owned, whereas the Mets may not.
All right, so there's your stacks for today. And now let's get to our sleepers for today. So on DraftKings, our sleeper for the day on LineStar is Rangers Ezekiel Duran at $2,500. And he's projected to have 8.64 fantasy points. Another case of Duran. We had him earlier in the week as well. The price tag just is not reflecting how awesome he's been. In 11 games, has a 326 average, and he has a hit in each of his last 5 games. Going up against Tigers righty Bo Brisky, who hasn't been great. 90 degrees at Comerica Park today. By the way, the over 1.5 bases prop for Duran is at plus 135. I really like that one.
I almost hit that one.
I mean, that's a really good.
I almost said
that's a great prop bet for today. All right, let's go to the FanDuel sleeper of the day, and that's going to be Brewers shortstop Willy Adames. He's $2,900, projected to have 13.05 fantasy points, 208 average, but he is heating up. 2 home runs in the last 7 days. He was 3 for 5 yesterday, and he's going up against Mets righty Tyler McGill, who is good, but actually Adames has got to him. Small sample size, 2 for 5 with a double and a home run there, so not a bad play for that price tag as there. So we got some nice plays for you for some sleeper. Got to save some money.
McGill is a Tyler. So
Tyler, he's not a Tyler.
Yeah.
So he doesn't qualify.
LOR, so
he spells it wrong.
Yeah, he won't get the bump up, the Tyler bump.
So remember Remember to check out LineStarApp.com to optimize your lineup and check out all the great sleeper picks and good value that you can find there as well. Now let's get to our home run calls for today. Vladdy came through for me
Vladdy
yesterday.
did come through. Oh,
Big time.
Vladdy daddy.
Nice to see Vladdy just dropping bombs. Love to see it.
Yeah.
Who do you have for a home run for today?
I am going to Philadelphia with Rhys Hoskins. Dude is on absolute fire. He's hitting 500 over the last 7 days with a 607 ISO and 4 home runs over the last week. And now he's against Patrick Corbin, who he has 24 plate attempts against. His hitting 381 with a 429 ISO. We have warm weather, winds blowing out. He's going to go yard again today.
I'm going Mike Trout. He's going up against Mariners righty George Kirby, who I think could have a really good game. However, he is giving up a 319 average, 623 slugging to righty bats. Keep in mind, 13 of Trout's 16 home runs have come against right-handed pitching. He has 2 this past week. He's been hitting the ball, maybe getting out of that slump a little bit. Seattle, generally a pitcher's park, but Trout actually has 28 home runs there in his career. So I think he gets 29 today.
Not looking good for Kirby.
Remember to follow us on Twitter and retweet us for a chance to win some cash or a LineStar subscription. So follow us on Twitter, play along, see who everyone else is taking for a home run call today. If you think someone else is hitting a bomb, let us know in the comments. Now let's get to our prop bets for today. Remember, you can play your prop bets, Prize Picks. So make sure we'll drop a link below and you can go play. And let's go for today's prop bets. Where are you headed?
I am going to Texas with Martin Perez over 4.5 Ks. He's done this in 6 of his last 7 starts and is facing one of the worst offenses in the league that is prone to striking out. I think he hits 5 strikeouts with ease.
All right. You had Rhys Hoskins as your home run call.
Yep.
And I love that
Reese's
matchup for
Pieces
him today. Yes. Well, I think he's hitting that ball to pieces today. You like that?
I do.
Over 1.5 bases, minus 135 in 30 plate attempts against Patrick Corbin. 308 average, 346 ISO, 2 home runs. Just crushes him. And Hoskins just crushes lefties in general at a 1043 OPS, batting 500 the last 7 days with 4 home runs. He's just been on fire. So I love this play. I definitely think he's going to hit that today. But with that minus 135, I wanted to also give you something with plus money. So we're going Aaron Judge over a half of an RBI. So he gets an RBI today, plus 120. Aaron Judge is 4th in the league in RBIs, and you're talking about a plus money RBI prop. Okay, let's go. 328 average at home. Yankees are 2nd in the league in on-base percentage in June. So I think if he doesn't at least hit a home run, you know he's going to knock somebody in. Yankees are on fire. We're going Judge. All rise.
I like it.
Oh, just to recap yesterday, we did have a little side bet going on.
Yep.
You chose Wrigley Field to have more home runs than Coors Field. You, in fact, won. Yep. Tyler's just having a day yesterday.
4-1.
All the Tylers.
Yep.
Good day for the Tylers.
Good day for Tylers. We're going to run it back today.
See if we can do a good job on all our props today.
And Tyler's Padres had 19 runs. We can touch on that again. Almost put up 3 touchdowns.
That was crazy. That was pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, at a certain point, it's like, man, I feel bad for those Cubbies, man.
The Cubs did blow some of my underdog bets.
As much as I love position player pitching,
yeah,
it's kind of painful at times to watch.
Yeah, it's never a good thing when you see your home run pick on the pitcher's mound and it's not Shohei.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Good luck at all your daily fantasy and prop bets. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.
Bye. Have a good one.